Welcome to Reho Adventures. Join me as we work on a lesson with my reluctant reader. This is Elliot. He's my youngest son, and he's 7.5. He's been a reluctant reader from the start of our homeschool journey. He's a really active kid who can climb a rope and do crazy stunts, and he's super strong and fast and really sweet. But he's also a kid who never really got excited about schooling, even at home. So while we say he's in second grade, he's truly doing the work of first grade level on most of his main core subjects, including ELA, simply because we are taking lessons at his pace. If he were to be in a public school setting, we wouldn't have started him in kindergarten until he was 6. So he's not truly far behind if we were thinking about it from that perspective. He could very well be in first grade. So throughout this video, you will see me work on making a little game for him. We really need to work on his consistency with his sounds and his letter recognition. He has, I would say, 90% of them pretty much down, but the problem with him is consistency. There will be days that he has it, and I think, oh my goodness, perfect. We can move on and progress and go to the next level. But the next day, he might be back to getting a few wrong that I thought for sure he knew. And so I really started noticing some difficulties, especially when we were reviewing some phonics readers that he should have been familiar with. And it just broke my heart when he finally broke down, started to tear up, and just said, "Mom, I don't know what's wrong with me." And I realized that reading is not something that he's just reluctant about. He is struggling. And there might be something else underlying that we really need to take a look at. Um, my background is in speech language pathology. And I was a speech therapist in public schools for a good chunk of my career. And there has always been this nagging thought as a mom that something just isn't quite right. Things just weren't clicking as they should, especially when it came to his letters, phonics, and reading. A few years ago, I even tested his language skills, and that stinker was average to high average on the tests. So I knew we weren't dealing with an expressive or receptive language issue, and yet he was still struggling to learn his sounds and letter names. In addition to number names, he just didn't fit the profile of a kid who should have a learning issue. He had given we had given him plenty of life experiences. We are avid readers. I read aloud to the boys every night, but still something didn't feel right. It was just that I call it mom's intuition. So finally, I started taking some continuing education classes on dyslexia. I also have a dear friend who is a speech therapist as well, and she is specially trained to work with kids with dyslexia. So, after doing my research and chatting with her, I determined that Elliot would most likely fit the profile for someone who has mild to moderate dyslexia. So, after talking with my husband, we decided to forego formal testing at a public school setting, seeing as we wouldn't be putting him into public school, and all of the accommodations he would be receiving there could be done at home, including working at his level, accommodating the lessons appropriately, and giving him more time to complete tasks. In addition, testing in the school system is a very lengthy process and can be really stressful. I personally didn't feel like we had exhausted all of our options here at home, so I decided to really focus on what I could do as a mom and also as a speech therapist to see if we could make progress. So here's the question. Do you need to be a speech therapist to help your dyslexic kid? No. There are so many resources to help, and where we are starting is back at square one. I completed an inventory of 5 basic levels of phonemic awareness tasks, to see where he started to break down. He did great on the first 3 levels, but started breaking down on the higher levels, the higher, more difficult tasks, including identifying where a particular sound occurs in the word, when that sound was in the middle or at the end. So, where do we go from here? We are going to identify what sounds and letters he knows and then focus on which ones he is inconsistent with. And this cute game from All About Learning is perfect for that. And even better, it's free. I'll be sure to link this game in the description box below. And I do want to say that this game is not specific for kids with dyslexia, but it would work great for any beginning reader, any ages from preschool all the way up until Elliot's age, really, second grade, if you do have a reluctant reader or someone who's just inconsistent and needs a little bit more fun activity. Novelty is king when it comes to my son, so I'm always creating something new. And here it is, all done. It's adorable. So I wanted to bring you along for some of our morning work when I introduced this game to Elliot. Right here, he is smelling some of his new markers. They are scented markers, and he will only be using those for our ELA work. Again, like I said, novelty is king with him, and so I'm always trying to switch it up and make it new. He's having me smell some of these markers, and then we're going to get started working on finding an inventory of his consistent sounds. And once we have his consistent sounds, we are going to be putting them into a review notebook that we will go through every single day. One thing I know that can be difficult as homeschoolers is consistency. I am no different. I sometimes am feeling like I've got it all down and we are on a routine. And there are some days I'm just not feeling it and I let things slide a little bit. So that's one thing that I have to be sure to be accountable for. I need to really be consistent in practicing his letter sounds every day. So he is starting out with his letters, saying the sound, and then feeding the puppy. And then we are going to go ahead and listen in on a little bit of this lesson.
Wait,
Yes, but what's the name of it?
G.
Not G. J. J. For Jenna. It is hard. Okay. How about that one?
M.
M. What does M say? Perfect. You know that one really well. This one you're usually pretty good at. Oh, sorry.
T.
T. Perfect. Okay. How about
So here we are progressing through all of the letter names and sounds. I am just doing the capital letters because it is recommended to start with capitals when your kiddo is having trouble reading, just because there are less letter forms that look similar, including B, D, P. Um, Elliot sometimes gets M and W mixed up depending on the font. So we are working with capital letters first, and then we'll go through the lowercase. After we complete this, I also pull out one of my phonemic awareness workbooks that I used in my speech therapy, and I am going to practice finding the sound in the middle and the end of a word. And you will see that here in our next lesson. We use a visual cue of a long dachshund dog. And I talk about how there is a beginning, a middle, and an end to the dog, just like there are with some words that we're going to be talking about. And so you will see that in this next little clip here. You will see that he struggles a little bit at first, but he does have some success. I do use a lot of multi-sensory forms of learning with him, which is really key for kids with dyslexia. So I do bring out our sandpaper letters. I do show him, like I said, the visual cue of a long dog, and I will let us take a look at that lesson.
give you directions, okay? So you made your little dachshund. This is a wiener dog, right? A long dog. So he has a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? So what we're going to do is
English
we're
literature.
also going to talk about words that have beginnings, middle, and ends, sounds, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with an easy one. What do dogs hate? What's an animal that they really don't like? Yep. Yeah, cat. So let's think about the word cat. Can you put this chip at the sound of the word? So if we think about this being the beginning, this would be at. Can you put that chip at the part of the word?
What's the animal?
Okay, so listen here. If I were gonna do this, look. That's the beginning sound.
Yeah.
Is the middle sound. And is the end sound. So where would our sound be? Right in the middle. Very good. Okay, let's try another one. A lad is like a little boy, a wee lad, right? So, what part of the word do you hear the d sound? Lad.
Look.
Uh-huh. D. Where do you hear the d sound in the word lad? Is it at the beginning? Is it at the middle? Or is it at the end?
Wait, say it again.
Lad. Okay, so let's see it. Oh. D. Where is the d sound? Yes, it's at the end of the word. It's at the end of the word. Lad. Okay. So let's say the word ask. Your turn. Say it. Ask. Can you tell me where is the sound s in the word ask? Is it at the beginning, the middle, or the end? You're right.
Mom?
Let's look at it. Ask. You found it. The S is in the middle. The S sound is in the middle
Mom,
of
guess what?
the word. Yes.
Yellow?
Yellow.
Orange.
Ooh, you're right, because pinkish red and yellow do make like an orange color. And look, S. Can you trace it with your finger? S, like a snake. Yeah, very good. Ask. The S is in the middle of the word. Very good. Okay.
As he progressed with this lesson, he did find some success, which was great. I did really have to switch off my mom brain and kind of turn back into a therapist, which has been a quite long time since I've been in the workforce. But what you really want to do from a therapeutic sense is bring the level down to where he is able to find success. That has been the biggest hindrance, I believe, in his desire to want to do homeschool is that he has lost his confidence and he just automatically thinks it's going to be hard. So I needed to scale it back and find where he could build from. So we were able to introduce the lesson, give him a lot of cues that he needed, and then progress from there. And we will be working on this and reviewing it until he gets more consistent and he's able to really start to hear where those sounds are. Like I said, he's great with finding the beginning sound of a word, but the middle and the end sound are a bit trickier for him. And so we will continue on. You'll see that he is tracing it with his finger, that sandpaper letter there, which really kind of just helps to reiterate the formation of the letter and the sound it makes. So we will progress with this, and I will be sure to document our journey. I do think it's incredibly important to show you that we have prickly parts of our homeschool journey. It is not all lovely and beautiful, and we have wonderful times all the day. It can be very difficult, and it makes you really rethink, am I doing right by my child? Do I need to switch it up? What problems do I see and how can I fix them? And as long as you continue to evaluate those things and check in with yourself, I think you will never do wrong by your child. So I had to kind of get over the difference between being mom and being a therapist. And I did feel guilty about not maybe taking seriously some of the warning signs that I saw just because I was mom. And of course, everything is fine. But I did really listen to my intuition and really start to take a look at some of the real issues I was seeing, and then kind of game planning. It doesn't have to be something where you feel like you have to drop everything and put your kid in school, but it is important to go check out the resources that are available. Many of them are free, some of them are not, but still might be worth at least looking into. And so, as I am learning about our journey with dyslexia, I will definitely be making more videos to share because I don't find a ton of resources out there for working with kids with dyslexia in a homeschool setting. So, if I could be a resource to others, then I would be very happy to do so. So, I hope you come along with us on this journey, even if it is a difficult one to document. It is an honest one, and I will be sure to share that with you. Until next time, thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you're enjoying our content, give it a like, and click the bell for notifications. And hopefully, we'll see you next time.